He'd climbed over the fence. It was an illegal migrant. There was two of them. Been made aware that they need to get under their desks. There is an attack imminent. We were told by one police officer yesterday, do not approach him, he is dangerous. What is his real agenda? Why is he only going to schools?
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Nick Talks. This episode's amazing guest is a lady you may have heard of if you're on X, and that's Sarah White. How you doing, Sarah?
I'm good. How are you, Nick?
I am good. I wanted to speak to you about what happened in Epping yesterday. So today's Friday. Obviously, yesterday was Thursday. We were going to have a chat yesterday, but then you phoned saying something's gone on in Epping. I'll let you get into that. For people who don't know Epping is where the protests against the migrant hotels first started, and then that took over the country. Something really interesting happened yesterday. What was that?
So I received a phone call to say that a school had gone into lockdown, and that school was in Waltham Abbey, so not far from Epping. And it was a primary school, so I rushed there, hence the reason I couldn't dump on your Zoom yesterday. And basically what had happened, to give a bit of a backstory, is there had been a guy had been detained the day previous at a secondary school. Two children had found him wandering around their grounds. He'd climbed over the fence. It was an illegal migrant. There was two of them, and the police were called, and he was escorted off of the premises. Now, he wasn't arrested for going into the school. He was arrested because he'd broken his bail conditions. He'd failed to attend court. So the other gentleman was allowed to leave, and this guy was detained, taken to the police station, and he was processed in under 3 hours and released with no further action. Now, we protested outside the Loughton police station that evening because we said this is very unfair, and what was his real intentions, and you know what if he goes on to go into another school? We'd already had reports that he'd been removed from a school only days before that as well. So now going forward to yesterday, when we got this phone call, it transpired it was exactly the same man. And the head teacher there put the school on lockdown. The man hadn't been detained. He'd been able to get away, and they sent the police helicopter up. I got to that school and I'd done a live feed, and I was showing everyone what was going on. And from the outside, there wasn't really much, because there was multiple parents turning up, concerned. They'd heard the news. It had spread quite rapidly. The school inside, all the gates were shut. The blinds were pulled, and we'd heard that the children were underneath their tables. They was told to get under their tables. It's a process called sleeping lions, and when the children are told sleeping lions, they've been made aware that they need to get under their desks. There is an attack imminent. Now, a child was able to get in touch with his mother because he had a phone in his bag. And he later said to his mum, please come and get me. I'm scared. There's a man outside. We don't know what's going on. So I had people messaging me saying, you're wrong. You're spreading misinformation. Children were not under their desks. This would not have happened. And the thing is, did they see any of these children? I spoke to a young girl last night that was in that school, and I said to her, like, how did you feel? And she was like, I was absolutely terrified. She said, we was all told to get under our desks. She said, and I didn't know what was going on, because what I think people fail to understand is we all know what happened last year to them 3 young girls when they was brutally murdered. Now, any of them children that would, say the older children in this primary school, would remember that from last year. It wasn't hidden. It was across the news, and parents would have been talking about it because it was so devastating. Now, them children could have been thinking, is this about to happen to us? So what does it do to their mental health? Because although we was all standing outside, I don't have children at that school, but I am a mother, and there was lots of parents there. We all knew that them children were safe in that school because we knew that man hadn't got. We knew that he was on the run and he was being tracked down by police. But what was it doing to them children inside? Like, and this is where, so fair enough, I had people say, yeah, but he didn't actually do anything. What's the problem? No, but he has done something because he's caused mental trauma to these young children. And it's got to stop. Like, where is this going to go before anyone actually makes a change and policies are put in place and these men aren't allowed to integrate in our society? And then, so last night so that went on for hours, being outside the school. Then we was kind of on a bit of a manhunt trying to find this guy because we'd be also made aware that another guy had gone into a school, Chigwell, called West Hatch, and another illegal migrant had got into the college in Debden where he sexually assaulted a young girl. Now, the police, when we went to Loughton police station last night to protest outside, the police had released a statement saying that these incidents didn't happen and that this man was being detained for car offences. So he's not being detained for going in or near to schools. Like, I'd find that quite alarming. And the schools are really playing it down as well. I've got all of the letters from all of the different schools. Some of them are saying, it's nothing to worry about, or it didn't happen. Now, it would be the school's duty to press charges. Davenant had two men walking around on their school premises. That's a civil matter because it's trespass, and it is down to them if they want to press charges, and they didn't. And I find that quite alarming. And it seems to me as if the people that are working in these schools, not all of them, but people that are, say, like head teachers, police forces, they just turn in a blind eye. And we all know that it was only one man that committed them crimes last year. So it only takes one man. And for people to turn around and say, it was only one man. Yeah. And it was one man that shot Charlie Kirk, and it was one man that killed them poor innocent little girls. And he was only 17 himself. So everyone needs to start realizing and assessing how dangerous these situations are or could be. What is his real agenda? Why is he only going to schools? He's not going to police stations. He's not going to container yards. He's not being seen at petrol stations. They're saying that he's hungry, yet there's pictures of him at the food bank every week. So it's not that he's looking for food. And I just think that people need to, wake up and stop turning a blind eye.
Wow, there's a lot there. So let's unpick some of that. First of all, we had a man who's already been arrested. He's on bail, and we're not sure what the crime was, but he's on bail, then basically breaks into a school and is put back on bail. It's absolutely crazy. And you said something that I hadn't thought about. I hadn't thought about the Southport atrocities last year. And I didn't know our schools now have a policy, have a procedure for kids to hide under their desks. How low have we fallen in the UK where we have a procedure that all primary school kids know to get on your desk when we tell you there's danger in the school? And the psychological damage that does, not only to the children, but to the teachers as well, to the whole community. Is my child going to come home from school alive today because 3 girls got butchered last year by someone who looks like, sounds like the person who's breaking into the school? And what's he doing targeting his school?
Yeah. This is the concern.
Go on, sorry.
Now, this is the concern. He's been seen at multiple schools. He's been escorted off of multiple school premises. And the police didn't charge him. He wasn't arrested for being on school grounds. He wasn't given new bail conditions because he was on school grounds. The police officer said to me quite clearly, he didn't commit an offence. Now, we were told by one police officer yesterday, do not approach him, he is dangerous. And then another one to my friend, we are going to the school and telling them to stop spreading misinformation because he has not committed any crimes. Well, is he a danger to society, or is he innocent? Like we've always been brought up throughout generations. If you see a stranger outside a school lingering about, report it. This is not normal behaviour. And if they're saying that he's just lonely, why is he going to schools? If he's hungry, why is he going to schools? There's lots of places. And the other problem is he's covering a quite large scale of ground. Like this guy is picking out schools purposely to go from Epping to go to the school in Waltham Abbey. He's travelled through the forest. The Epping Forest is a large forest area. And the areas he's going through, why isn't he going to a high street? Why isn't, he's not doing any of these things. He's purposely picking out schools. And we already know that he's not acting alone. There has been other people now have been cited at other schools. And it's alarming. It really is alarming.
I mean, the initial question is, why do we allow these people in our country? They may break into the country, but why are they not either arrested and detained or deported the same day? And I don't care where we deport them to. It can be the Ascension Islands that we own in the middle of the Atlantic. I don't care where they go. I and many people in this country now have had enough, and we're saying, get rid of these potential murderers, rapists, criminals. And I know they're not all murderers, rapists, criminals, but they don't deserve and they have no right to be here.
No, they don't. And this is the thing. Like, I had a woman last night come up to me and say, you're scaring my children. Sorry, me personally, am I scaring your children? Like, we're out protesting. We're a peaceful protest, and we're protesting because we want to protect all of the children in this country. We want to protect the future generations. We want to protect our great nation. And the thing is, these men, and they are all men, it's predominantly all men. Where are their women and children? And they have come from a point of safety. We already know that most of them are not traveling from war-torn countries, but they are fleeing persecution because they've committed crimes in their countries, which is some of the reasons why we're not allowed to deport them, because of crimes they've committed. They would be persecuted in their own country. Well, if you know in this country that if you carry a knife, you're going to be sentenced to 5 years. I wouldn't carry a knife anyway, but it will deter people from carrying a knife. If you know in your country that you murder someone, that you're going to get the death penalty, then, you need to face the penalties in your own country. You can't then go, well, I'm going to skip off over to the UK and because I won't get persecuted there and I'll be allowed to live my life and do what I want. And if they land on our shores, they do not suddenly say, oh, I've suddenly become gentrified and I all of a sudden have got the morals and the work ethic and the respect for women that people in the UK have got. And I'm not saying that everybody in the UK is a law-abiding citizen, because that would be very naive of me to say that. However, these people come with the ideology that someone like me is not even a second-class citizen. And I deserve basically to just be treated like a piece of dirt. And, there's no real place for me in this society.
It's even worse than that. It's worse than that because we've got foreigners in this country who commit the most horrendous crime here, and then we can't deport them. And there's a good case the other day, an Iranian guy raped someone, and we can't deport him back to Iran because the Iranians treat rapists very harshly. So he gets to stay. He raped someone here, and we can't deport him because the Iranians quite sensibly treat rapists harshly. We are run by fools, and we must be idiots for keep voting in these fools.
I know. And this is the thing. In my speech last night, I said to the police, you would do well to remember that you swore an oath to the country to protect the citizens of this country. And the government would do well to remember that they are here to protect the liberties of the people in this country. Neither of them are doing their job. And the government would do well to remember that we outnumber them immensely. And it is down to us that they are in the positions that they are in. And if they wish to keep their positions, they should be putting us as a priority and our children's health and safety as a priority, because at the moment they're putting illegal migrants wants, needs above those of their own citizens. And it has really got to stop. And for people, I just don't understand. I said to the woman last night, you're attacking me because I'm here trying to protect women and children. However, you didn't have your child ringing you from under their desk saying, please come and help. I'm scared. There's a man outside. We don't know what he's going to do. And she went, I've got migrant friends. And I just thought, sorry, that to describe your friends as migrants, what are you going on about? Like, your friends haven't come here illegally. They've come here legally. They're probably born and bred here, so they're not migrants. Like, and I think this is the confusion. People are saying, because Epping is a predominantly white area, you are predominantly going to get white people protesting. That doesn't make it racist. It's just how the demographics are. But when I'm standing next to my friend Isaac, who is black, is she calling him a racist? No, she's not. But she's totally ignoring that he's there and saying that I'm a racist. And I just don't get where these people, I feel like they're all suffering with a mental illness, and they do not want to look at the facts in front of them.
That's because all their life they've been propagandized. All their life they've been told the worst thing you can be in the world, the most worst thing you can be is a racist. So people like that believe that to be true. So they would rather sacrifice their children on the altar of multiculturalism rather than be accused of being racist. They're one of those that we had Jews in the Second World War who supported the Nazis. Did deals with the Nazis because they thought they would be let off. She's hoping if she supports this, these people will never be bad to her. And what she doesn't realize is bad people don't care who they're bad to. They don't care.
I think as well, I actually believe that the people that are calling, say, like myself and yourself and everybody else say at the protest, the people that are calling us racist, I actually find it's them that are racist.
Of course.
Yeah, I really do. And I think you're hiding under this, it's a perceived misconception that they can say, no, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. But the terminology that they use I find really racist, because there was a woman interviewed the other week, and it is because the counter protesters had turned up. And she was being interviewed by this woman, the interviewer was a black woman, and she's saying to this white woman, why are you here? Because she said, because why is it that there's no one in your counter protest of color? She said, you've got no Asians, no blacks. Why are you all white? And she went, well, we're white supremacists. And she said, we have to be here to protect POC people. And she went, sorry, what do you mean POC people? She went, well, people of color. And she went, well, that's funny. She said, why do you not think that anybody here of color is sitting alongside you? And she went, well, because they're scared of the people over there on the right. And she said, well, that's funny, because there's lots of people of color over there on the right, and I'm not intimidated by anyone on the right, but in fact, I'm intimidated by all of you. And the statement went totally over her head, and she was like, yeah, no, they're all really racist over there. And you go, oh my God, like, these people have not got the brains they was born with. They actually can't see what's going on.
It's because deep down inside, they believe they're good people. And that's all they're trying to show everybody. It's virtue signaling. I'm a good person. None of this makes any sense, but it doesn't matter. I'm a good person. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on, updating us what's going on in and around Epping. Carry on doing the work. Everybody needs to carry on protesting, because let's end on this. Things are changing. This Labour government will do nothing, so let's forget them. But they're not going to be in power much longer. Whoever comes next, Tories, Reform UK, Coalition, whoever comes next, will start the long process of change. They won't be perfect, and they won't do it all in one term, but they will start the process. In a decade from now, we'll look back at this time and we'll go, Jesus, we all lost our minds, didn't we? And it's going to take a decade or two to fix this country. But I honestly believe it's going to start with the next government.
Yes, I believe so too. And I live in hope for that.
Seba, thanks so much.
Thanks, Nick.